So obviously most of you remember 2020 and the mayhem that was in major cities. And if you lived in a major city back then, I imagine you don't anymore. And if you do, I think it's just a matter of time before something like that happens again. But obviously in America, there are certain towns where crime is worse than others. And ever since the police got defunded, they've pretty much advertised to civilians or criminals, to be more particular, that you can pretty much do whatever you want because the police aren't going to make it there in time, or they may not even show up to a call. And you know, I've talked crap, to say the least, about news networks for a while. And one of the things that I've talked about is advertising things that are going to make issues worse. For example, mass shootings. When you put a mass shooter's face and their name up on the TV and you're talking about them, what do you think that says to somebody who is lonely, who's never had friends in their life, and is looking to be famous by doing a mass shooting? You're saying, come on, man, do it. I mean, you can do it in our studio if you want, because we're going to plaster your name and your face all over the news. You guys are stupid. Stop doing that. But there is also another form of advertisement. And I almost feel like this is a psyop half the time when news stations go up there and they talk about the lack of police presence in major cities. Look, if there is a lack of police presence, fine. But what do you think it does when you get on your news network in your suit and you say, hey, guess what, guys? There's going to be no cops available from this time to this time during the day. So essentially, it's a purge from this time to this time. What do you think that says? No? You're not sure? Why don't we watch this?
The city will see a major change in the way police respond. They will no longer respond to calls that aren't considered in-progress emergency.
Oh my God. Can we just look at this real quick? Look at what Mr. Rick Earl is promoting on the screen here. Making changes and at your service since 1857. And this is for the Pittsburgh Police Department. Just remember what that says on the screen while you listen to this.
That means calls like criminal mischief, theft, harassment, and most burglary alarms will all be handled by an enhanced telephone reporting unit. That means residents will file a police report over the phone. Officers will not respond unless it's an emergency.
First off, I recommend you guys change your seal, because you having your seal saying at your service, that doesn't make any sense anymore. But you're saying that they're only going to respond to emergencies. So is someone coming into my house and burglarizing my place while my wife and kids are here, possibly threatening us, probably, I don't know, stabbing one of them? Is that not an emergency? It's not important to you? Priorities nowadays.
Also, between the hours of 3 a.m. and 7 a.m., there will be no officers at any of the 6 stations throughout the city. Call boxes that link directly to 911 have been installed for people to use in case of an emergency. And during the overnight shift, there will be as few as 20 officers to cover the entire city.
Only 20 cops for the entire city of Pittsburgh? Just get rid of the police department. Just get rid of them and tell the citizens you are only going to be able to call 911 for emergency health reasons. Otherwise, you better make damn sure you're carrying a gun. You better make damn sure you're locking your doors. You better make damn sure that if somebody tries to rob you, you've got a way to fend them off. Hey, I'm already a fan of it. I've already expressed that in the past. But 20 cops for the entire city of Pittsburgh? What is this? Is it a volunteer group?
Mixed reaction from residents here. Some welcome the changes and believe they will be good for the city. Others believe more patrols should be out at night.
The whole city of Pittsburgh is at risk.
Rich Chupka, the owner of this business on the south side, isn't too happy about the new changes being implemented by Pittsburgh police in just a few days.
It's terrible that they are decreasing the police force.
So, now that we've heard of this, once again, for the news network who published this, who advertised this, get your head out of your ass. Fine, if it's a fact that this is happening, fine. But don't put it on your news network. What are you telling people? Okay, instead of 20 minutes for someone to come help you, as far as the police goes, now it's going to be never. 20 minutes and never are pretty much the same with police, because you want someone there now when the criminal act is happening. A robber isn't waiting around 20 minutes to see if the cops show up or not. Everybody, a big thank you to Blackout Coffee for sponsoring today's video. Most of you are customers. As you know, I'm a huge fan of their product. My favorite by far is Brutal Awakening. On the flavored side, cinnamon French toast, a must try. But big news on the Blackout front. Their investment opportunity is open again. You can become a part owner of Blackout Coffee. All of the details are going to be in the link below the video. This time around, they wanted to make sure that everybody, no matter what your income level is, can become a part owner of Blackout. So regardless of if you decide to join or not, there's always a discount code for some amazing coffee. Some cities are not okay with this.
To a controversial new armed citizens patrol in Hartford, organizers say that people will legally carry as they walk parts of the city where violence has taken a toll, though some, including the city's mayor, are raising concerns about the effort. NBC Connecticut's Matt Austin has more.
In Hartford's North End on Saturday,
we are legally armed! Legally armed, and we're patrolling!
A group of people look to patrol and clean up Garden Street.
It's important to come out here because we believe that we have to keep the community safe, we have to keep the community clean. And we're doing this by being out here for a few hours, cleaning up the community, picking up the trash.
Garden Street has seen its share of gun violence, including a double homicide in February, which is what prompted the push for civilian armed patrols.
The people on Garden Street came to us and asked us for help.
While there did not appear to be open carry, which is banned in Connecticut, organizers previously told us those armed would be licensed and have concealed weapons.
Oh, good. That's what you're worried about. So let me get this right. There are a group of citizens that are doing the government's job, and it's cleaning up the streets. That's a whole separate issue, which we don't really talk about, but it is a problem. America is trashed if you go to a major city. But the more important part, they're going around and patrolling. They're going around and making sure that their neighborhood, where their kids live, their grandma lives, their mom lives, is safe. And somehow what you're focused on in this situation is, well, thank God none of them are open carrying because that's illegal. Do you see where that's just stupid? Oh, God. I mean, they're doing the government's job, but thank God they're not breaking the law and not open carrying.
We are not vigilantes. We are a group of people that are disciplined and trained, who go to the shooting range.
The effort faces opposition, including from an anti-violence group and the Hartford mayor. Mayor Arunan Aralampalan wrote in part, "Our community has seen so much pain and trauma, and what we need is for those who love this city to do the hard work of healing that pain." The mayor added that the city did not need people being trained to walk the streets with guns and trying to take the law into their own hands.
Well, that's interesting, Mayor. Okay, well, what are you doing about it? What is your police department doing about it? Is it just the norm now? People walking around, being gang members, shooting through houses in Connecticut? Is that just the norm? Because what I was taught at a young age is if there is an issue at hand and no one else is doing it, you step up. You step up and you offer your help, or you take care of the issue yourself. That's what these people are doing. But somehow you take the stance of, well, you know what? We don't need armed people walking around. Well, guess what, dude? This is America. There are a lot of armed people walking around, even if they're not in a group like this. Look, my hat's off to these gentlemen who are walking the streets trying to keep the crime down in this area, but isn't this just hilarious? I mean, think about how much money our government gets every single year from the taxpayer. And then think about how much money we have sent to Ukraine and Israel. It says the U.S. spent $215 billion on law enforcement. That's all law enforcement. Do you think, I don't know, the hundreds of billions of dollars that we've sent overseas over issues that are not ours would have helped this issue? I don't know. I mean, I'm not a mathematician, but if there is a funding problem in our police departments, if you can't find people to work police, that's a separate issue, and I don't blame anyone for not wanting to be a police officer nowadays, but you've got to do something here, or else it's just going to be anarchy. So, once again, I've got a recommendation for all cities, for the US in general. If you don't have the funding for police departments, get rid of them. Stop telling people that you're going to show up to calls and then never show up because you don't have enough people. But on the same token, if you're getting rid of police, if you're saying, okay, it's going to take 45 minutes for us to show up to an armed robbery, you need to get rid of all weapon restrictions. You need to let people have a chance at defending themselves. That's as simple as it gets.